I didn't know that.
I'm a fan. She's a huge Potter fan. Huge.
Yeah, I was more into the movies than I was the books, but I sometimes struggle with fantasy for whatever reason. It's hard for me to read through fantasy because I'm like, this isn't real, this is fake. Despite the fact that I read dystopian fiction. Huh?
Did you read Hunger Games?
I read like half of the first one.
Okay, I'm through my I'm rereading them all right now because the prequel came out today and I had it delivered, so I got the prequel today.
Oh, nice. I want to read the Handmaid's Tale series. That's what's next on my list.
I've read the first one. I haven't read anything after that. It's really dark.
It's dark. Yeah.
I heard that the book is darker than the show, which is a lot because the show is incredibly dark.
And I've not seen the show because the book is too dark.
The show's a lot.
It's really heavy. The way they kill babies and stuff, like that's just
spoiler alert if you haven't seen or
spoiler alert. Sorry. Welcome to Twitch.
Our poor friends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you haven't seen it at this point, you weren't going to see it, right?
I mean, that's true. The first season did come out like 3 years ago, so
yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, I guess this isn't what this show's about. Yeah.
TV and film review.
Sorry about that. The other day we didn't get to talk about anything fun, so you were talking about PR1. Was that supposed to be our subject?
Ooh, I was excited about PR1, not because of the loss of jobs, but for people who don't know, PR1 filed for bankruptcy earlier this year and thought they were just going to be able to mitigate loss, downsize a little bit, and maintain the company. Earlier this week, I believe, they finally announced they're shutting down all stores. They're just going to liquidate all of their assets. Yeah, and the rumor on the street is that Wayfarer is going to swoop up and buy a lot of the stuff.
And that makes total sense.
Makes total sense. One of my favorite Boston brands, but yeah, it's a wrap for PR1. Like, done.
Yeah. What do you think the reason for that is? Do you think like Wayfarer is a little bit more, you can personalize Wayfarer, and PR1, it was like you just pick up a room and you just put it at your house. Like it wasn't like a plug and play.
PR1 was designed for the housewife who had time to go to the store and browse, whereas Wayfarer is designed for literally everyone who has a computer and can figure it out. And so I just don't think that PR1 adapted to people's more like people becoming more comfortable with purchasing things online without seeing it in the showroom first. And I think they just relied on that target demographic of the Henrys, the high earners, not rich yet, people who had free time to shop for furniture. Whereas most of us now, we just go online and buy something. It's
Henry. I had no idea.
Oh yeah.
What'd you say? High earners?
High earner, not rich yet. Henry.
Not rich yet. Damn.
I didn't make that up, I promise.
Wow, so many of those. So many of those. Okay, got it.
Yeah, but they're done. Also, Jet.com, which was acquired by Walmart.
I saw that.
For $4 billion, officially done. And I feel really bad because I know that there's still a lot of people, a ton of jobs will be lost from that. And some people migrated over to Walmart Labs, but for people who didn't, it sucks.
I don't think that one's the same as people are saying, make it out to be. So like that group, which ended up being based in like the New York, New Jersey kind of region, they're hiring like crazy. I think they just they don't want to maintain the two different brands, which I would, by the way. And they've kind of given that group full control over Walmart.com. So they're saying we're just all going to do this thing domain-wise.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a huge cultural issue too. Right after the acquisition, there was a lot of friction between just cultural integration between the two brands for reasons you would probably imagine. Walmart's policies are a little more traditional, a little bit more stuffy, a little less flexible in terms of working from home and parental leave because it's Walmart. And Jet was, the scrappy startup that had much more favorable and millennial-friendly policies. And there was a huge clash that first year in terms of getting everyone integrated.
Yeah, I can see that totally.
Mm-hmm. Brian, did you just say you would keep two brands?
I would keep two brands in that scenario because when you're making, billions of dollars on each, it's okay.
Oh, okay.
It's all right.
It's a monetary amount.
The caveat. The caveat.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Now I understand.
Is that within Apple's philosophy though?
Does Apple have? I mean, Apple has one brand. Period. Hardcore. There's sub brands, the Mac, the this and that. There's products, but yeah, I would say that they're a one brand company.
Mm-hmm.
For context, I like to bother Brian about his love of Apple and Apple products. He's a former Appler himself, and I am not. I'm very, very much a Google and Amazon person in terms of my products. So
I don't mind her making fun of a company that has made more money than any organization in the history of humanity.
Oh, come on. It's a
Greatest
cult.
corporation in the
It's not a cult. It's
a
just
cult.
products that work. My
The
products
products
work.
aren't in any way better than what's on the market. Also, tech culture, you're right. There's room for both. We could both just agree and have room for both in the world, but not in our office. No.
Never before have humans got together and created such wealth. Period.
Yeah, really, the argument is really the behind the scenes part is that we have Hillman Accelerator and Numi Bootcamp and Lightship Capital and now Twitch Pitch. And Brian loses his mind about it.
One brand. I want one brand.
Yeah.
So actually, for the good people at home, feel free to say something in the comments.
Oh, yes. Like, what do you feel about Hillman? Do you feel like that's okay? Should we switch it to like Hillman Bootcamp instead of Numi Bootcamp? Do we keep them all? Like, Lightship's not going anywhere because that's where the money's at. But yes.
Yeah, should it be Lightship Accelerator? Should it be Lightship Bootcamp? That might be interesting.
I'll just keep my faces to myself.
You can't sway the people with your faces?
Huh?
You're swaying the people with your faces.
I mean, I just can't help it. Yeah. What's really hard is I don't know who these people are. Like, they just have a screen name, a username, and not their real name. And I don't know who they are. It's hard. Maybe I can just look them up on Instagram or something.
I know Tech Culture has been a fan of the show since day one. I appreciate that.
He's one of the day ones.
I appreciate that day one love. We won't forget you. You might get a shout out here and there all along the way.
Oh, definitely. Greg follows me on social for sure.
I think I gave Greg a retweet today. Actually, I think.
And as a matter of fact, Greg the other day, well, what is today? Yeah, Tuesday night was like, hey, where's the show?
I see Zach in there. Zach, let me help you out there.
We got you, Zach.
Uh-oh, Zach can't get in. It's on the 404. I thought I fixed it.
So, Lexi, we did one of these for VC group yesterday, and the day for Twitch Pitch on Tuesday, there was a driving lightning storm out front. No problem with the internet. It was good. Yesterday, sunny day, internet in the whole building goes down.
Really?
Yeah, we did the Black VC meetup group.
Nice.
Last night. It was like 80 people or so.
80 people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good turnout.
Yeah.
It was a really good group. It was Chandler from Tulsa, from Atento, and he's got a new comms person, and it was good.
Hey.
24. What's up? Welcome.
All right, Zach, you should be ready to go. We're good to go. Send the new link in your email.
1 minute warning, actually 20-second warning here. We'll get started.
Well, don't forget, Zach's got to get in here first.
Or not. Or we'll just hang out.
Marlon, is everybody ready to go? Let us know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got to switch over. Oh, yes. One band, one sound. I love it. That's right.
All right. So we are all, what is that? Okay. So it's my reading out loud.
Don't get lost. Don't get lost in the comments.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get started. So, you're watching us live here on Twitch. Welcome. Twitch Pitch is the first pitch competition where you, the viewer, have an opportunity to vote on the company that you like best. Every episode, 2 companies will pitch, and they will compete for the title of the best startup. Now, the best company of the season will win $5,000 in cash prize. Also, up to $100,000 in Amazon credits, which every startup absolutely needs. So we want to spend some time first saying thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Amazon. Thank you to PitchBook, where we get some really cool stats for you about each of the companies. And thank you to Twitch, of course. So first, the rules. We're going to watch a 5-minute pitch for each of the companies. And then after the pitch is over, we will bring them on live to answer questions from the judges. Each judge will be given 1 question. And then, of course, you, the viewers, will be able to ask questions of the companies as well. Marlon, who is listening to us, kind of voice of God, will go through those questions and ask them. So please, as you're watching the pitches, start thinking about the questions you might have for the company. After the pitch is over, we'll do some talk about how we felt about it, and we'll open up a poll here on Twitch that says, would you invest in that company? Yes or no? And we'll take that information and cut down from 12 companies to 6 to 3 to the winner. And there'll be cash prizes from the next round on. So really exciting time, really good, hopefully good for the companies, good for all of us to learn more about how VC works, demystify the process. And we are here to help everyone. So with that, my name is Brian Barkeen. I'm general partner of Lightship Capital. We are a venture fund focused on the Midwest and focused on underrepresented founders. That's women, persons of color, veterans, immigrants, you name it. And with me is ladies, tell yourself.
And this is why we're getting a host. So
we need a host. I started kind of run out of breath too, so I should just. Candice, tell about yourself.
I'm Candice Matthews-Barkeen. I am one of the general partners of Lightship Capital and also the founder of Hillman Accelerator.
I'm Alexis. I'm the associate at the fund, and I get to work with these guys every day.
We're just as silly every day, all day. I make mistakes, they make fun of me. That's kind of the relationship overall. So with that, let's bring in the first pitch, Selflessly.
Hello and welcome to Selflessly. Selflessly makes corporate philanthropy easy, effective, and engaging. So let's talk about this space and social impact. We know that over 67% of employees are looking to work at a more socially responsible company. And 87% of consumers are willing to pay a premium for a product or service if they know that that brand is operating in a socially responsible way. In addition, at the latest CEO Roundtable, the discussion has been had about stakeholders and what that looks like. Stakeholders now have been expanded to encompass communities, neighbors, and minority populations. So it seems pretty simple to me. We all should be getting out as company owners and giving back as much as possible. So why aren't more companies doing that? Well, it's not a lack of interest, and it's not a lack of demand from employees to get out there and do something. Where it gets difficult is that programs to create corporate philanthropy strategies are expensive, they're manual, they take a ton of time, and they're really focused on the current generation in the workforce and not expanding for the younger generations. Because of this difficulty and the lack of options in the space, it's estimated that $10 billion in resources of matching donations, sponsorships, grants, volunteer hours go unused each year. $10 billion. We need to fix that. And Selflessly is the platform to do it. We've taken the best practices and the psychological demographics of giving and centralize all of that painful manual process into one platform and created automation and empower employees to get out and do the work they want to do. Companies use our solution and give access to their employees to make their own personalized impact through donations, volunteering, and donating products. And we bring all the data to coordinate that. We want to drive purpose in the workplace. We want to keep employees engaged with companies through philanthropy. How do we do that? We focus on 4 modules that make up our platform. We allow employees to manage their own volunteer time off. They can engage with any of our 60,000 volunteer opportunities in our system. We allow companies to set up a workplace giving program with automated matching, so employees can donate to any of the 1.7 million nonprofits in the US. And then if companies have products or services or skills that could be used in the community, they can manage that entire process through our system. All the philanthropic interactions that your company makes are then tracked, recorded, and pushed up to the CEOs so they can take a look and make impact annual reports, use it for sales, marketing, employee recruitment and retention, and culture process. So who's this weird voice on the phone? Well, it's Joshua Driver, and I'm one of the co-founders of the system. We built this based on my knowledge of the nonprofit industry through several successful tech startups that I built, and also creating my own nonprofit called Open for Service to help during the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. We wanted to take what was disconnecting companies and charities and reconnect in a new way. And how do we know that we're doing this right? Just ask a few of our customers. We've launched with several big companies here in Indianapolis and are currently expanding out nationally to help get that $10 billion out into the world. So let's talk about this market. We're seeing more companies take money from HR, marketing, and IT and put it into social impact. And so all the time, we're seeing an increase in the spend and the budget from a company. So far, we're at $8 billion nationwide on a spend, looking for solutions to increase this. To get more companies involved, well, we keep pricing simple. Our core system is $5 per user per month, which is great for small businesses and fits right in their budget. As we get bigger, we can decrease that programming, and then we work with partners to integrate payroll, HR services, and also be the tool that can manage social impact on behalf of a consultant. Our go-to-market strategy is to have these 3 channels, but we've also built a free nonprofit volunteer management platform to help nonprofits with their corporate partnerships. Our pipeline has grown significantly over the last 12 months, so we know we're in the right space. To give you an idea of our team, we're a small but mighty team of inclusive, smart people that want to make a change. And we've won a bunch of awards to show for it. And we're really proud of that. I would love to tell you more about the platform that we call Selflessly, and I'm willing to take any questions that you may have. Thank you.
All right, and here's the team from Selflessly. I had a hard time.
Hey, Zach.
You know that.
So that was my co-founder Josh on the pitch, and then you get to have me for questions.
And what's Nick's dog's name?
I don't actually know. I can't. Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's okay. That's okay. Awesome. Well, great pitch. I actually wrote down a ton of questions.
Let's go first.
So how are people solving this problem right now? Here in Cincinnati, we have the United Way. United Way is taking care of like all sorts of things, but I don't know what that background looks like. How are organizations dealing with this issue right now?
Sure. Good question. I would say to address United Way, I think they focus a lot more on the donation side. And so they have annual giving campaigns where a company would once a year say, okay, out of my 100 employees, we're each going to give so many dollars. And then they aggregate that and give it to United Way, and United Way does kind of directs the money. There's a little bit more detail behind that, but I think the other way is that companies are using a lot of Excel spreadsheets and doing it manually. And so we're not necessarily seeing that we're even taking the place of something else. Mm-hmm. We're taking the place of Excel spreadsheets and helping a company scale their efforts and kind of increase participation.
So who are you selling this to in a company?
Depends on the size. We wanted our solution for small to medium-sized companies, so SMBs, the SMB market. If they're under 50 employees or even up to 100, it's sometimes the HR leader or the COO If it's over 100, it's definitely normally the senior vice president of HR. And then once you hit about 200 employees, sometimes the company will actually have a designated leader for community impact, community relations, or a philanthropy chair. And so it's one of these type of people that would handle that.
Can I do one more question? I'm sorry, I like this one.
Please do.
How is COVID affecting everything that you're doing?
It changed a lot of the volunteering, but I guess, well, let's back up. We actually have been in the kind of consulting and talking to companies for a while, but we actually just launched our software in February. So we were kind of in this, crazy phase anyway. And so we're like, I don't know how it would have affected us year over year, since a couple companies have put pause or.
Wait, you just started in February?
So we launched the software in February. So we've been working on it a little bit, but yeah, we were in our kind of beta period.
Okay.
Our first 10 companies gonna sign up, and so out of those 10, we weren't even able to get all 10 into the software because people, had to switch focus a little bit. Mm-hmm. Employees were out of the office, and so not as many people obviously doing volunteer events and things like that. So we did pivot a little bit and try to help nonprofits with a lot of virtual volunteering. So how do we, help nonprofits during this time, and then also connect employees to virtual events? So that was one slight change we did during this time. So
cool. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good. We love when you're excited about it. Plus, you're the boss, so that's So I've got a question about converting customers. So in B2B, sometimes you go to the employees, right? Or maybe the younger employees even, but more and more, it's almost like everybody kind of pushing this impact, right? Mm-hmm. Some companies you go to the C-suite and try to kind of force it down, but those are two very different, marketing approaches, right? So are you guys kind of going after the hearts and minds of the group, or are you going after the C-suite and try to find the people who understand the mission?
Yeah, I think we want to find a way potentially for the B2C to be in the future. But right now we're going to more that C-suite or leaders of HR and saying, hey, your employees want this. And we think that. And I think they do. Provide with a little data. And then also ask what they're currently doing. So our initial target, as mentioned, we just launched, our initial kind of targets, they're already doing something. And we're trying to replace their spreadsheets and their inefficiencies. And so it's an easier sell than starting from scratch, although we can help a company do that as well and have a couple that are saying, okay, yeah, we could see that. We know it's important coming up. But yeah, so initially it's kind of going to those leaders of the companies and saying, I think your employees want this. Employee engagement's important. Employees are, your best asset. And so how do we help that?
Alexis?
In addition to just employee engagement, you talked a lot about the millennial preferences and what they're looking for in the workforce. Do you see this as a way to diversify a company's recruitment strategies and entice new types of employees, or to extend the lifespan of existing employees who may be a little low in morale, or some hybrid of the two?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a combination of the two. You want to keep your employees, and you want to see if you can get them to stay longer, whether that's another 12 months, 24, or longer. We can't prevent all turnover, but we do think it's important to attract the right talent as well. We hear more and more in the interviews, hey, what do you offer volunteer time off, or what do you do for your social impact? How do you engage in the community? So I definitely think it's both.
Great.
And I've got to ask you, because we ask on every show, are you wearing the swag for the company right now? Because we love swag.
I wanted to support.
We love swag. So.
Oh, can I give one? I have one last thing. I just want to say it's not an investment related topic of any sort, but I just want to give a quick shout out to some of the great work that Joshua's done in terms of promoting equality for all people in Indiana. Not to get too political, but he's done some really great work on that front. And I just want to thank him and your whole team for that.
Thank you. And thanks for that.
Lexi's such a beautiful person, man. I tell you, boy.
Give it a quick Google. There are some pretty unsavory things happening in the state, and he has put together some great organizations and teams to combat that.
Which goes to the point of we want to hold up founders that are doing great things, because sometimes that's not seen right in the press. So really deeply appreciate your work. Candice, did I see a hand up there as well? Or?
I mean, I was just going to get to an audience question.
We do.
They're here. They're here.
Marlon, why don't you give us an audience question, sir?
No problem. Our first question is from S. Louis Charles. He says, what's the major benefit for the companies and their employees?
Sure. It depends a little bit per the company, but at the same time, whether a company wants to say, hey, we're already doing all these acts and we're trying to engage our 100 employees. And so we'll ask, what's your current engagement? Is it 5% of employees are volunteering or donating? Is it 50%? Is it 100%? And you rarely see it, above 60%. 60% engagement is huge and awesome. And so we take it kind of a little bit of, hey, we can help increase engagement, make it easier to sign up for events, make it easier to create events. Because the HR leaders, they're already tasked with all things people. And so if we can help them, save some time or make it easier to do these things, that's going to increase employee participation, which is going to build that culture better and then kind of spread from there. So there's a lot of benefits that come from engaging employees, but also saving the time for those HR leaders.
Awesome. Thank you, Zach. Our next question is from Tech Culture. He says, how are the charities selected / vetted? So
that is actually something we've kind of differed from maybe a United Way a little bit or some others. We want to give choice to the employees. And so we kind of take a little bit of a bottoms up, like a lot of employees are already connected to maybe 3 nonprofits, 3 charities. And so they want to donate and volunteer to those. And so we encourage that. So our platform brings in all 1.7 million nonprofits in the US and allows any employee to donate to any of them. So we don't necessarily take a stance on that. We do help a company if they want to put some parameters around or encourage matching donations to only certain nonprofits. We help them kind of walk through that, talk through that. But we don't do the vetting of the nonprofits.
Awesome. I'm loving these audience comments. So it looks like our friends at Generator and G Beta are in the audience. So Jess says, hey, Zach, made my night seeing a G Beta grad on here. And then it looks like Rachel Gray from Endeavor is saying, sending Endeavor scale up love. So that's exciting. You got awesome. Lots of fans out here.
These are good people. Good people.
Well, thank you. Thanks, fans.
All right.
Excellent. Well, if there are no more questions, thank you so much for coming on the show. And now we're going to talk behind your back.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Zach. Bye.
She hates when I say that. That's why I say it.
You're right.
So, what do we think about the company?
I mean, I like it. I think it's a great company. Just engaging your employee base around philanthropy and around giving back, I think is the right thing to do. You have more and more companies right now with that give back mentality. And if you don't have a way to capture that, then how do you push something forward? I think the stats about millennials giving back and caring about causes are big enough to prove that this really is a meaningful thing. And the fact that they've already made $75,000 this year.
Yeah.
That's kind of big. They launched in February. So I think that's a super positive thing.
And a lot of that was COVID time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like the approach. I hear a lot of, sometimes we hear some negativity about United Way, and sometimes the way that they choose the organizations that are being supported. Mm-hmm. And so to give choice to the employees, I think is a much better solution. Yeah, you have to be a member of a community sometimes to know what your community needs. And I think that approach is a good one.
Yeah. Lexi?
I think that's incredibly true. Not only of United Way, a few other of these big players in this space kind of imposing what may not be the best for an area, but these guys are super experienced on the nonprofit side with having these relationships locally and nationally and understanding some of the quirks and kinks about developing those relationships and what they're looking for, as well as having the experience of building for-profit companies on the B2B side. So they really have all of the pieces to make this machine work, and I'm super excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. I mean, I'm really surprised at how it was just February that they started, and I know what my first versions and other people's first versions kind of look like, and it's definitely further down the road. There's still more polish to go. I think it could still use some more design elements, and oftentimes founders hire designers last versus first. And so I'd love to see them kind of get some more cycles on the design side. But as far as the concept execution, I think they're crushing it, and they have a huge. This is why we say oftentimes, because we're focused on the Midwest, when you're building companies in places like Indy or Louisville or Cincinnati or you name it, everyone's rooting for you. Everyone's pulling for you. They're going to log on here and send you love, and they're going to retweet you. And you're not going to see that same kind of love in some of the other cities on the coasts. And so I think they're in the right place. They're in a place that people want to give back, right? They're a place that people want to support them, where the burn rate is lower, and they've got time and some cycles to get it right. To me, it all kind of makes sense. But also, for those that are watching, you can vote with your mouse, right? So there's some links there in the comments. There you are. Click on that link, vote, let us know, would you invest in Selflessly? And I finally got it right at the last time. So all right, so with that, on to the next. Marlon, do us the honors and show us Candi. This is where, there you go. Cool.
My name is Keithan Hedrick, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Candi. Candi is actually an acronym that stands for Celebrities and Influencers. Candi is a social network that allows fans to virtually meet and greet their favorite celebrities and influencers. How it works: fans can follow their favorite celebrity's profile and request meet and greets with them and attend live events. Fans pay the meet and greet rate set by the celebrity on their profiles, and some events are free. Here's an example of a celebrity's profile on Candi using Kylie Jenner as an example. In the lower left-hand corner, you see all of the events available for purchase for a fan that Kylie is sponsoring. On the right-hand side, you see a list of all the latest videos of all the latest meet and greets that Kylie has performed. What do fans say? We've surveyed over 500 fans, and 64% said that they would pay to virtually meet and greet their favorite celebrity. 30% said that they would pay over $100 to virtually meet and greet with their favorite celebrity, and 55% said that they would pay to see exclusive content from their favorite celebrities, such as live streams. What do celebrities say? We surveyed over 2,000 celebrities, and 88% want the ability to be able to virtually meet and greet with their fans. 89% want the ability to be able to do live stream events for a fee, and 69% have a Cameo account. Our nearest competitor in this space is Cameo, which provides fans pre-recorded shout-out videos. They're currently valued at about $300 million and projected to be worth $1 billion by the end of 2020. The fundamental difference between Cameo and Candi is the deliverable. The deliverable in Cameo is a 1 or 2 minute pre-recorded video that provides the fan no interaction with the celebrity. The deliverable in Candi is a 2 to 5 minute private one-on-one meet and greet. And we also provide paid live stream events. The market size is about $11.1 billion industry, and it has grown about 3% over the past 5 years. Here are some of our revenue projections, and we assume these numbers based on reaching our fundraising goals. We hope to average in the first year 250 meet and greets per day, which will be about $4.5 million in revenue. And by year 5, we hope to have about 3,000 per day and average about $71 million in revenue. For reference, Cameo does about 6,000 pre-recorded videos per day, and they are inching about $100 million in revenue. How do we make money? Primarily in 2 ways: through booking fees and ad revenue. Celebrities determine their rate for a meet and greet / live stream. The standard time for a meet and greet is about 5 minutes. We've been playing with 2 minutes in beta, but 5 minutes is a better value for the fan. Of that rate, the celebrity makes 75% and we make 25%. From ad revenue, we have ad revenue on our virtual waiting room, which shows before every meet and greet and every live stream event, as well as our Candyland news feed. The virtual waiting room is much like a YouTube ad that plays before a YouTube video. Our Candyland newsfeed is a curated newsfeed like Instagram and Facebook newsfeed that shows curated content of the celebrities that fan follows. Here's an example of our virtual waiting room ad from Sprite. If you notice, it's 42 seconds left before the event starts, and this is where the video or static content ad from Sprite will show. Here's an example of our Candyland ad in our Candyland newsfeed from Nike. Again, the fan will see the latest meet and greet videos from the celebrities that they follow, interspersed with ads throughout. We're raising about $200,000, and we hope to use those funds for marketing, on-site developers, talent acquisition team, and operations. We know it'll take more than that, but that is enough to allow us to continue to build on the momentum that we have. And actually, within 2 days of announcing Candi as an idea publicly, we raised $25,000 of that $200,000. We launched the beta version on April 20th. And in that time, roughly 3 weeks, we've onboarded nearly 40 celebrities and influencers with more in the pipeline. We've completed over 20 bookings, again, with more in the pipeline. We've had over 25,000 website visitors representing over 100 countries, and we've earned about $1,000 in revenue. It's important to note that our biggest celebrities have yet to publicly post about joining and being available on Candi. So there's a great potential there. Candi is actually our second successful marketplace app. Here you see is my wife and co-founder of Candi, and that's Keontae Hedrick, and she's also the chief operating officer. Our first been Insta Speakers, which is a live on-demand translating app that allows users to get a video call from a human translator on demand for their language needs, or also dubbed the Uber for translators. Here you see who the founders are. Again, I'm Keith Hedrick, and my co-founder, me and my wife, Keontae Hedrick. We look forward to partnering with you. We hope we receive your financing, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right. Here's the Team Candi. How's it going?
Hello, hello.
I also the merch right there, right up front. I appreciate you. Above the line, too.
Gotta do it.
Okay, so I never start one of these with a critique, but I'm going to today.
Sure.
Please bring the team to the front, because then that lets me know like who you are. Because as soon as you told me that you were the Insta Speakers team, I absolutely knew who you were and that you'd actually done a similar platform before. So help me to help you.
Okay, absolutely.
Tell me why you feel that you'll be able to capture enough celebrities to have critical mass on this platform.
Yeah, I think great question. So one of the fundamental reasons is because they see the value in the offering. As we talk about the company Cameo, where they are currently doing pre-recorded videos, they see that isn't just a natural extension to that platform. And actually, we're really excited about one of the talent that we have on our platform, Dorinda Medley, who is a star on Real Housewives of New York. She's actually one of the original members of Cameo. She's done over 2,000 Cameo videos. She's made over 300,000 in revenue, and she still decided to join Candi because she sees the value that it is a premium offering to her fans.
Were you able to leverage your platform from Insta Speakers to help build this out?
Absolutely. That definitely helped keep the cost down because most of the platform we already had the code for most of it. So it definitely allows us to do it a lot cheaper than it would have if we started from scratch.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that the reason you get this far this fast feels like because you have a head start. We love second time founders because think of all the mistakes you made the first time and all the things you're not going to do this time. Right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've seen his deck from his first company, so let me start there. Yeah, he might think I never saw it, but I definitely did.
So tell me a little bit about some of those actual learnings. What are some of the things that you made sure you put into the sauce here that you learned from that first experience?
One of the things, ironically, is just making sure that our back end was stronger. So having more detailed analytics, being able to control our platform a little bit more on our own. So particularly with features and stuff like that, we've been working with our development team to make sure that us as non-technical founders could be able to make some, sort of regular, up-to-date, easy changes without always having to filter that through our team who's offshore, because that creates, it's just there are different time zones and different availability. So if you can't make fundamental sort of structural changes on your own and know how to sort of play with things, I just think it creates a huge issue. And we saw that with our Instant Speakers platform, is that when we wanted to shift or make changes, it just took way too much time. And I think that's one of the fundamental reasons. And also for us, also just understanding how to interact with investors more, understanding sort of how to talk their language and pitch better. And the traction that we've seen, I would say, in the month that we've had this beta out, as comparison to even the first year of Instant Speakers, has been light years different. And I think primarily it's because we're better.
Tell me a little bit about what celebrities and influencers are doing currently. So I know that, there's Cameo.
Yeah.
I know that some people, you guys know it's my favorite thing to talk about. Some people are starting OnlyFans for this. Like some people are doing IG lives. Is there something for a meet and greet style format already? Or is it just kind of those three alternatives which don't really fit the bill?
Yeah, so there are other competitors, I would say, that are sort of our size. So Cameo is sort of the Facebook of the industry, and so you really do have a couple other companies like us who are really vying for that second market leader position in this category. And so they're all small. We're all sort of here, roughly. Maybe someone has 20 more talent or something like that. We're all in that same range, sort of vying for that second spot behind Cameo.
What do you think will give you that leg up? Do you think is it number of celebrities? Is it a quality of celebrity, or is it a better experience? What do you think is going to kick somebody
Great question. I think the fundamental thing that we have that separates us, and actually we're solving the problem that Cameo has, and Cameo is actually a Chicago company, and we have great interaction. We know those guys. But the fundamental thing that Cameo is struggling with is there's no reason for a user to come to their platform if they aren't ready to spend money. And so because we've created this sort of social aspect around it where fans can follow their favorite celebrities and influencers, they have a news feed like Instagram, right, where they see the latest meet and greets. We increase that FOMO, right, that fear of missing out that drives social behaviors. But we also have a reason that we have monthly active users, daily active users that helps us sell ad revenue. And so we have a reason for you as a fan to be on our platform, even if you aren't spending money, as opposed to others where if you aren't going to book talent, there's nothing there for you.
All right. Marlon, I think we got a question from the audience. It's a pretty good one. Mind giving it to us?
All right, no problem. We've got a tech question from Tech Culture. The social platforms struggle with toxic numbers. How do you moderate and protect celebrities?
And so ironically, we had a pitch competition yesterday, and we had the same question. And I think it's important for us in our terms and conditions. One of the main terms and conditions is that the celebrity can end the call at any time for any explicit behavior that they deem in their own discretion to be inappropriate, and the fan does not get a refund for that. So we always say, if people want to be paid trolls, have at it. And so that's really the protection that we have. We can't. But what we did recently have yesterday, actually, a booking that we had to reject because the fan made a very explicit ask. So we do ask the fan to, give us any special details that they want. And this was very sexual in nature. So we didn't even pass it on to the celebrity. We vetted it. We refunded the fan their money back. We obviously coached them on how our process works, right? And so we have sort of, done that education up front, but we do have that sort of as the backstop. And we coach all of our celebrities too for their bookings to say, hey, if you're ever uncomfortable in any way, feel free to hang up. Again, you'll still be compensated and the fan won't be compensated for that.
Ooh, people are nasty.
Oh, I mean, you would be surprised. This was very explicit. It was like, this is crazy. And the fact that someone typed that was like, did you think we would be like, sure?
Pass it right along.
17,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had just another quick question about growth, right? So you talked about there's a bunch of folks interested in becoming number two, right? How do you beat those guys up?
Yeah, I think the biggest differentiator that help in the long term is whoever gets to a critical mass of talent next. And I think the biggest way we get there is trying to create these relationships. We've created a referral program whereby any celebrity can become a referral partner with us, and they'll get 5% of the revenue of the person they refer for up to a year. So that's a very good incentive. And again, that 5% comes from our share, not the celebrity share. So we always tell people the talent always makes 75%. So that's never impacted. So that's one way that we've seen to be a good. Dorinda Melly, as I was mentioning earlier, Housewives of New York, she's refer up to 75 different talent for Cameo alone, right? And so she got them most of their housewives and stuff like that. So if you can really perform well for certain talent, you can really do well. The second thing that we've done that's helped us, we've actually tripled our revenue for the last month yesterday by creating curated events. So with Maya, Grammy Award-winning artist, we put together a special event with her where we did it for one day at a certain time. And so we drove literally triple our revenue last month in like 3 hours yesterday. And that's actually a differentiating factor that we should talk about quickly, is that our talent is always available to be booked. So other platforms that are in our space only do curated events. So let's say if you go to Loop Live is one, it's like a concert. You have to catch the celebrity and book them when they're available. Our talent is always available for purchase, and then we will coordinate a time for the fan to get that meet and greet. So we do the curated events, which we see is very successful, as well as just always having open availability where we can try to schedule.
That's dope. What I love about celebrities is the next one might be the next one that makes you grow that much faster just in one day. So,
yeah, literally, we got Maya on Mother's Day, and we just onboarded her, and like yesterday was the first time she posted, and I talked about that in my deck. She posted for the first time yesterday, and literally, we sold out the spots 3 times over. So we had to create 2 additional events, and that is really the power of having the right celebrity post. So we have huge celebrities that haven't posted yet for, a lot of them is they don't want to inundate their fans. They're posting, they have their social calendars when they post things. So we've seen with Maya as an example that one post from the right celebrity could literally triple revenue in a day. So,
all right, another question from the audience here.
Yeah, so we got a question from JB Rav. He says, what is the average price point to the fan wanting to purchase the meet and greet package?
Yeah, absolutely. So every celebrity sets their own rate. And again, we coach them on that. But right now, the average buy value is $47. But we have celebrities who are as low as $10 to $15. And it really just depends on sort of where they are in the social stratosphere. So typically our, influencers anywhere between $1 million and $1.5 million are going to be about $20 to $25. And again, so we sort of scale it that way, but it's also not purely on followers, because some of our talent are, we're on a movie or on a show, and maybe they don't have as many followers, but they have, cult following that spend a lot of money with them. And 25% of our bookings right now have been rebooked, which has also been very successful for us in terms of following up with talent, because again, it's the limited time. So they had a great experience, but it was only 5 minutes and it got, cut short. So now we go back to them after and say, hey, we noticed that you got cut off. You didn't have much time, rebook. And that has been extremely successful for us. So.
I think we got time for maybe one more.
Sure. We got a question from Helen. She says, how do you make sure the celebrities are accountable themselves, fulfill their obligations, and not counsel on a fan?
Yeah, great question. Actually, this hasn't been a problem for us. And I think part of the reasons we have to remember they're professionals. This is how they earn their revenue. They do this for a living, whether that it may be going to appearances or shows or things like that. And so we've actually seen our talent to be very, very, very receptive and responsible, but we also help make it easy for them. So part of our booking process is every celebrity has to give us their cell phone numbers. And so we use that as a way to make sure, we send text reminders, we follow up and things like that to get them on the call, because sometimes they do forget. And so that's sort of our backstop. And that's actually very important piece of this thing, because many of the talent you have, they have, 6 gatekeepers, right? And so it's like a manager and an agent and a social influence. So, that's a part of our platform that we actually was non-negotiable. And we've actually, had to go back and forth with some talent on that because of that reason, because we know that we needed to have direct access to our talent so that if a fan ever was on there and there was an issue, we could easily get the talent roped in. And these are only 5 minutes and they're done, via their cell phone. So once we can connect with the celebrity on their cell phone, it takes no time to get them on the call and they say, oh, let me knock this out real quick. So
love it. Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for wearing the merch.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I did have one quick question if I can ask one of you guys.
Please do.
This is new. This is new. Go.
Just a simple question. I always wonder. So like Brian and Candice obviously being a husband and wife team. Like Brian, do you have to like go like to the room all the way in like the east corner of the house and like do these, or like how does that work? Yeah,
I'm right this second. I'm about 800 miles away. So yeah,
way away.
No, but yeah, when we are in the same house, I do it from literally one corner of the house.
Yeah.
Candice is from the opposite corner of the house.
But the more serious question, I'm sorry, we actually have gotten feedback before as about being a husband and wife team, and we've heard some negative critiques about that at times. Just to get your feedback on that, being a husband and wife team that has obviously successfully done that. How do you deal with that, and how should we address those types of issues?
Yeah.
Here's my thing. Like, I had a whole career before we got married. We've been married for a year and some change now. Like, we were both successful apart. Wouldn't you consider us to be more successful together? And that's what we've, I think, accomplished. I am in a better place now in life than I was before. And we push each other forward. We have company goals and we have our own personal goals. Like, and we've hit every single milestone that we've wanted to hit. I mean, we have our own family financial goals with a spreadsheet, and if we hit those things, we hit the things at work too.
Yeah.
Really, could this partnership be any worse than a friend of yours, right? Someone you hire. So yeah, I hear what people are saying, but Bill and Melinda Gates, the Bezoses, the Obamas,
right?
Right? Like, those people are greater together. So
J and B, I'm sorry, we can stop. We get.
I'll say there's one thing though. This is something that I've experienced and said myself in various investment committees, is the difficulty with investing, and not working with, but investing in a couple is every vote really is two people, right? So if we have a really tough decision on a board level that we have to work out, I'm always going to assume that the two of you are going to vote the same. And so it just makes it sometimes a little bit more difficult if I'm trying to play a political game with you, honestly. If I know that there's always going to be someone in your ear telling you something maybe that's different than what I want to say, and they're married to you, and you're going to trust that person more than you trust me. So that's why it's difficult. It makes playing head games a little bit more challenging. And sometimes when you guys fight or have a rough go at it, we can sometimes feel that, and that sucks. So that's why there are investors who just have policies against not only investing in couples, but investing in family members. I generally don't like to invest in siblings, or there's just weird dynamics that happen that are outside of you that get brought into the company sometimes.
So basically, we're head game proof.
Say it again.
We're head game proof.
That's probably true.
Good.
I was just going to give another example of a good answer you can give, which is sometimes when two people are working, two partners, right, are working at work, then they go home to their partners, right? Their partner is in love with them. They're like, "You're the best, babe. You need to get more shine," or no, he was wrong or she was wrong, right? They're kind of hearing that, right? And then they come back to work the next day with all riled up for a fight, right? Because they've been told, my wife or my husband told me, like, "Man, don't come back without so-and-so, make sure you get this and that," right? Here, it's not the case with Candice and I, right? So we are literally on the same page, and her success is my success. My success is her success. We had a call earlier today where we talked about, Candice, getting some well-deserved shine. And maybe if we weren't together, I'd be like, "Oh, jealous of that" or something. But instead, you're like, "Oh yeah, you want to give my wife shine? Great. Like, yeah, let's bring it on." So,
and frankly, what I've also said is there's no one that can hold me accountable and vice versa than me and her, right? Like,
Yes.
when things have to get done, like I know that she has the time. She knows I have the time. If I didn't get an assignment done on time, she's like, "You were watching Netflix, right?" So like,
I saw you do that.
Yeah. So I do appreciate the fact that I'm like, there's no other co-founder who could keep me more accountable and help push me more than the person that like knows me like the back of their hand. And I feel like that helps bring the better out of me, and the same for her. So.
I mean, the mortgage has to get paid. The kids have to be fed. Like the car note has to be taken care of. So, you know, if one person's not pulling their weight, like all those things don't happen, and payroll doesn't get paid. Exactly. So yeah, no, I think it's a better option.
I appreciate that. Sorry, didn't mean to.
No. This is why they're all here. They love the banter, is what I hear. So.
Well, congrats on a great company. Congrats on a great relationship.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're talking about the business a little bit.
And if you don't forget, if you would like to, if would you invest in Candi is the question, and you can vote on Twitter.
This hosting ain't easy. See, that hosting ain't easy, I tell you.
We got to make sure we fit that in. It's both those links are on Twitter, so hit that link. We would really appreciate it.
Right there in the comments. You're right there in the comments. All right, guys. Who would like to go first?
I mean, I'll say something. So my only concern is Cameo making a pivot. There is always going to be room for the number 2, the number 3 spot. But what if Cameo makes this pivot and adds those additional options for their celebrities that are already on the platform? There are all sorts of different kind of subsets of celebrities, so maybe they could attack something else. But it really is just going to be about speed at this point.
Lexi?
I agree. Like I said previously, for me, I get much more worried about related founders in any way. It just becomes a little bit of a headache for me. Looks around the room suspiciously. It's a dynamic that I know I can never win, and so I generally try to avoid it in my deals if possible.
Would you rather have a sole founder, or a married couple?
Sole founder.
Oh, really?
Hands down a sole founder. Sole founder, we can find a co-founder, we can build a team, and then I don't have to deal with personal dynamics of what's going on in your home. Like, I very much prefer that.
Yeah, but sometimes those sole founders are hard to work with.
But also, you know what's hard to work with? Divorce. Have you ever invested in a deal where there's a divorce? It's a nightmare. It is everything about the actual company gets set to the side, and it's horrific.
But is that okay? So I have had that happen once, but is that any worse than founders breaking up?
That's so much worse. There's so many other things you have to peel apart that aren't even affiliated with the business, but somehow get spilled into the business. I won't say too much. There was once a company that I may or may not have known where a decision was made to get a private jet because of the way the custody battle ended up, where the kids were now across the country, and they felt as though it would be better for their time to get a private jet to go see the kids back and forth.
See, that's just bad people.
That I never want to have to deal with, because it was a couple, they broke up and ended up splitting the company basically by coastal. You don't have to deal with that. You just don't.
That's crazy.
Those are just bad humans.
Well, I have a question for you, Lexi. We were married when you decided to come over to the fund. Was that something you thought about before you joined?
100%. 100%. And it's also something that everyone else told me to think about.
No,
like every other investor, they're like, make sure you're aware that there are things associated with this. It definitely was part of the calculus that I had to think through.
And we still got you. And we still got you to come over.
That you did.
For the people.
And thank you, Tech Culture.
Because they're agreeing with you?
And Lillian.
Wow. Well, I don't know if my points about the company even matter after all this. But,
man, Team Lexi the VC. I see it.
Yeah, just convince the crowd here. Like, for me,
that's all right.
What the show's about, right? No, I like the design, number one, and I'm always coming back to that a little bit. I thought the logo's dope. They have a great experience.
Yes.
So that's really, really important. And to have a code base to start, they just basically took 2 years off the front of the startup and pulled it all out, right?
Yep.
And kind of that's a like a 2-year-old company on day one because the code base already exists.
Do you guys remember that company, Insta Speakers?
I do.
Yeah, yeah.
Not as much as you. I mean, you seem like you really, really, really.
Oh, I totally remember it. Lexi, do you remember? Did you look at that one with me? I can't remember.
I remember seeing like their video clip and maybe the deck, but I don't think I ever spoke to him about it.
I think I did maybe year 2, Hillman year 2. I had to look. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So I think it's a good company. I think they're good founders. I see what you and the crowd are concerned about. But yeah, it's actually better than I thought it was going to be. To Candice's point, coming in because you see so many of these, and you get worried. But then every page of the deck, you got stronger and stronger and stronger. So yeah, really, 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 I enjoyed it. So
yeah.
All right. Don't forget to vote. We will see which one of these companies gets on to the next round. Any other questions before we go? Thank you to the sponsors and do some banter on the way out.
Yeah, no, I think that's right.
All right. Well, again, thank you to our sponsors, Amazon, PitchBook. We couldn't do this without you. Love the show. It's for the culture. And in the banter section, in the post section we're about to go into, we're going to talk a little bit about this. Facebook saying, hey, I love much of my employees don't want to live in the Valley anymore.
Oh, that's a good conversation.
Twitter saying, hey, you live wherever you want to. There's a real opportunity, I think, out here for the other cities around the country to kind of democratize tech. But until then, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. We're out from Twitch Pitch.
Yeah, what do you think cities should do? Should there be like targeted ads for cities? Like it should almost be like a pure Michigan play for everybody who wants to work remote.
I literally called for targeted ads today, and I tagged people in my tweet like, you should be running ads right now in the Valley and get these people. And what I said on Twitter was like, the capital will follow the talent, right? If all this talent leaves San Francisco, moves to Indianapolis, let's say, right? And then work there for a couple more years, take some stock options out, start a startup, right? If all these new startups starting in Indy, there will be capital that follows them to Indy, right?
Yeah.
Including some of their fellow employees, right?
Yeah.
Former employees, right? So I think it's a huge opportunity for cities all around the country, and they should be literally running ads to get as many of those people to where they live as possible.
Yeah. So
and for some people, this isn't new. Like we know Vermont's been doing this for at least 2 years. We know Tulsa has a similar program. Nebraska has a program that's similar. Like there are cities and states that have been finding great tech companies and saying, hey, your people don't need to be here and we can pay people to live elsewhere. So it just seems like everybody else has to catch up, but it is really exciting.
So I follow, I don't know if you guys know Erica Joy. I can't remember what company she's at. Remember, Brian, we met her out in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she posted earlier today, and I probably shouldn't even said who this was, but who cares? She says, your company has just announced it's going remote first. Are you moving? If yes, to where? So like this thing, 73 retweets, 400 likes, like, and everybody's talking about, oh, I'd move to Richmond, Virginia, or I'd move to Hawaii so I can stay on the same time zone. Like, I thought all these people were happy to be in San Francisco. You know, like everybody I knew, oh, we love San Francisco. Like, but then as soon as they can go, they're just leaving. Like, what happened to all the love?
Yeah, $4,000 for a 2-bedroom a month.
So do you think this is what's going to happen in New York? Do you think if you completely shut down the financial district, everybody says you can go home, you don't have to work, do you think people are going to drain out of New York City?
No. Yeah. I think New York is totally different. New York is totally different because New York, and I don't want to get too whatever, New Yorkers can become very prideful about their community once they've moved there. There's a pride associated with living in New York, despite the high rent costs that people who live in San Francisco don't get as excited about. Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
I will say though, for some people, yes, they'll move, but I I don't think you'll see as big of an exodus from New York as you will from the Valley.
A lot of New Yorkers are from New York, right? They're a whole generation of New Yorkers, and if not, they're from New Jersey, they're from Connecticut, they're from the sphere of New York.
Yeah.
And for them, they've never been anywhere that can replace the need for like that style of life, whether it's better or worse. As a Philadelphian, I would say that, you know, they're so used to that particular style of life. San Francisco is different. I mean, if you live in the Valley, you're driving to a suburban office park, you know, at Google, there's no style of life there, right? You're paying $4,000 a month for a 2-bedroom. It's completely different, you know, completely different thing.
I love this comment about the $25 cheeseburgers in San Francisco. That is 100% the truth. You go there with like, you know, like on a business trip, and your food costs are so high there. It's like you're on an island.
$40 salads for what? And it's not that it's not delicious and organic and beautiful packaging. It's all the things. Great logo.
I'm eating in my hotel room out of the little mini fridge.
I had a $2 grilled cheese sandwich in San Francisco. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Former New Yorker here living in Atlanta. I will never leave to go back there. I didn't say it. Not me.
Jay Brown's a multiple show watcher there.
I mean, I feel like we got a little following here. It gets me all hyped up.
We appreciate that. And you get good comments too. I love the Black Panther thing. Helen was on here earlier too. Love you, Helen.
Well, let's ask the people who are here then. If you get to move anywhere, would you move into where?
Good question.
Yeah, is your job saying that you can work remotely?
And
actually, Alexis, would you move?
Absolutely.
Whoa! Damn!
It all just came out right now. Okay.
Listen, you guys don't know, but I'm an East Coaster. I'm from the East Coast and was transplanted to the Midwest, and it's great. But if I never physically had to be here, I would move back to Providence.
Yeah, I think so. And I like Providence. I can understand that.
Providence is a great, beautiful city.
It is beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I think that's something we should talk about. Happiness is like super important. And if we do work all over the country, it doesn't really matter where you are.
We'll take it offline.
Damn. Are we still live?
We are. We got some good answers. We've got some. I would move back to Detroit. And
back to the D.
Now. Back to the D. We've got some from Brooklyn, but now in South Florida. Thinking about Austin before it gets crazy. I think it's already got crazy, but yes.
In South Florida, you would move from South Florida? Wow.
Austin's nice. I'm a
Brackeen, you would be fine with somebody moving from South Florida to Austin?
I think that if you had to move from South Florida, Austin would be on the list. Yeah. If I was trying to go to like a tech-y kind of place, South Florida.
Would you consider moving from South Florida to like a Cincinnati, Ohio?
I mean, I would if I married a woman that's transformationally amazing.
Good.
Like,
good. Just checking.
Wow.
But other than that, no.
Says the guy who's in Miami right now.
Lisbon, Portugal sounds great right now.
Oh, sign me up, bro. Sign me up.
I love it.
Yeah. Lisbon, done. My Portuguese is weak. There's no relationship between like English or Spanish, which I kind of speak, to Portuguese. Portuguese is like for me a completely different thing, but beautiful place.
Atlanta all day, every day. Music, culture, people of color, low cost of living, and $25 gets you a 2-piece chicken, 2 sides of white meat, but I prefer the dark meat. I love my job. The fact that I'm at work right now and reading these comments is the best.
That is definitely comment of the day. Hilarious.
Comment of the day. I feel like that's a good place.
You got that too.
Someone should screenshot it and send it to Keisha Lance Bottoms. I'm very excited to do that.
She out here selling Atlanta. They're out here selling Atlanta remote.
Get some chicken.
I love it. All right.
Well, I think it's time to go. Anything else, ladies, for the folks?
No, I think we're good. You know, none of us eat before this because, you know, the two of us do our hair and makeup. So we're, it's time for dinner.
I just kind of
about this food.
over, but yes. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you, especially for the repeat watchers. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for staying for the banter. We love you. We will see you on Tuesday, 7 p.m. right here on Twitch.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.